Saquon is questioning the Taylor Swift hate. Are we witnessing the end of Hard Knocks? Plus, Travis Hunter's NFL position revealed. Like, comment, and subscribe on the OutKick YouTube page.
We are out of the gates and ready to go. Hot mic on and with Roe. Chad, thanks for holding down, man.
Hey, anything for you, Hud.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what I'm here to do. We're here to lift each other up.
Yes, that's right. So we've been covering a lot of Taylor Swift, right?
A lot of Taylor Swift talk the last few days, for sure.
Saquon Barkley doesn't understand why she was booed.
Saquon Barkley found the proper audience on the Howard Stern show to voice, I guess, sort of his displeasure for what happened and that he doesn't understand why Taylor Swift was booed, to an audience that, worships all things Taylor Swift and probably hates sports.
From where you're sitting, do you think Travis Kelce's going to marry Taylor Swift, or what do you think? What's going to happen there?
Hey, I have no idea. I will say this, though. They showed her on the Jumbotron, and she got booed. I don't get it. I don't get why she was getting hate there.
I didn't like that either.
Yeah, she's just there supporting her significant other, and she's made the game bigger. We're all about how can we expand the game and make it more internationally, and we're traveling to Brazil, and we're traveling to Mexico, and her being a part of it is only helping that. So I don't get the slack that she's getting. But, yeah, I can't give you an answer.
It's a game. Lighten up a little bit,
Well, they're Philly fans. I mean, should we go through the rules of why and the reasons why Taylor Swift was booed? It's majority Philly fans inside of Caesars Superdome.
Yes.
Taylor Swift is the most visible Chiefs fan on the planet. Sorry, Paul Rudd and Heidi Gardner and whoever else is a big Chiefs fan. John Hamm, who introduced the team coming out of the tunnel. Philly fans like to boo things. This is historically accurate. They love it. I don't know that they like anything more than booing. That's what they love to do more than anything else. So when the most visible Chiefs fan on the planet appears on the screen in front of them, they are going to boo.
Well, and on top of it, if there's Chiefs fatigue, there's got to be Taylor Swift fatigue with this. And, Chad, you're right. I mean, it's the opponent. You're representing the opponent. And it's Philadelphia. And for Howard Stern to sit there and be like, yeah, I didn't like that either. Come on, man. You used to applaud, anything that was, against the grain. Now he's offended by it. It's ridiculous.
This was a guy who made his name and made his living on trashing people.
Yeah.
Right? Making fun of people. I mean, he talks about how big of a jerk he was to Robin Williams early in his career and how he wished he had that moment back, because that's the way he thought he had to be to make a name for himself, was to be as outrageous as possible, to be as rude as possible, as crude as possible to everyone in his path. And now we get late career Howard Stern, who I just don't get it. I just don't get it with the Taylor hate. Again, they hate her because she is the most visible non-football player or coach in the NFL. And she's a visible Chiefs fan who is dating, possibly going to get engaged at some point to a Chiefs star. And yes, probably, I mean, I don't think it's a big issue, but some people in there are probably diehard Trump supporters that don't like that she's so affiliated with the Democratic Party. That's like 3 or 4 on the list, though. That's way down the list of people just deciding to boo in that moment.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have tried to turn it into that, this is Trump's America now, and everybody hates women and hates Taylor Swift. I'm telling you, Philly fans love to boo. This is universally true. It does not surprise me that they would boo anything, especially Taylor Swift.
And I didn't mind the fact you got booed.
No.
Stern, who once would send some, who was it? Benji, I think he sent Benji out. Anthony Weiner, were you fully erect? Was the question he was shouting at the press conference.
Yeah.
And now we can't boo Taylor Swift.
But booing is a bridge too far.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
I get tired of just I think a lot of what Howard Stern has done in his career is funny. I have not listened to it, seen any of it in quite some time at this point.
I haven't
probably
either.
2 or 3 years.
To listen to it quite often.
Yeah, we would talk about the show and get clips. I don't know for any reason. I just started listening to other things.
Yeah.
But I haven't listened to Howard Stern in a long time, and he would do things that were really entertaining.
and funny.
I think Howard Stern falls into line with, it's too much like celebrity worship. You know, I think even with guests he has on, like he treats everyone with such esteem, and you can tell it's also how he thinks of himself. And it's almost like he treats everyone like they're not on the same planet with all the plebes that are out there and the common folk.
Yeah.
And that's how he treats. And so with Taylor Swift, it's, you know, how dare you people that aren't Taylor Swift
I didn't like that either. Yeah.
Boo Taylor Swift. How dare you all? How dare you do that? That's kind of the way he treats celebrity.
I'm surprised that Saquon was surprised by it, too.
Well, I don't.
I mean, just being he's for as long as he's been in sports, and I mean, he's, of course, one of the best players. He's getting booed whenever he goes to different stadiums. You know.
Look, I don't think Philly fans will care because he's a great player who's helping them win a Super Bowl.
No.
But I mean, you could just easily say, like, look, this is Philly. You know, like I don't. He said, I got no problem with Taylor Swift, but you get booed.
If I fumble the football, I'll be booed.
Our fans are passionate. You know, they'll boo us if we're not doing our job. They'll certainly boo Taylor Swift because they show her in the box during the game. I don't really.
What's it?
It's no mystery as to why she was booed.
What was the headline? Chad, you covered this earlier this week. Travis Kelce was distraught,
heartbroken, felt helpless. Hutton. He felt helpless sitting there, knowing that his woman was getting dishonored and booed, and that he's such a protector of Taylor that he wanted to run off the sideline and go and defend her. And I'm thinking, well, it wouldn't have made any difference for the Chiefs that night.
Not at all.
You could have gone and done that. You could have been her bodyguard.
Who?
You know that she has to have a bodyguard? First off, apparently in their dome, they didn't have their own private bathroom. They had to join them with other boxes there at the stadium, the way it's. So her male bodyguard had to take her into the bathroom. He has to go into the bathroom with her, which I guess I understand, but I just don't think about a bunch of women that are in the luxury boxes at a Super Bowl being a threat to Taylor Swift.
Oh, like he goes in and makes sure that no one else goes in.
I know
after.
He stays with her. Like he doesn't go in the stall with her, but he has to sit outside the stall.
That's what I'm like, to make sure that no one else goes in and uses.
Right. If he's standing outside the stall while she's in there, and then while other women are in the bathroom, which is very odd for other women using the facilities.
Yeah. That's a bit.
I mean, it's like
over the top.
It's sad that's required. And I guess that it is if you're Taylor Swift and you're a celebrity to that level. But this is also what Taylor Swift wants. This is what she signs up for. Well, I don't know that I'm feeling sorry for her.
At the Superdome, they didn't have suites that didn't have, you know, how you.
Or maybe he just went in the one with her with the individual one too.
That was the excuse.
Making sure it's not like Tony Corleone's got a gun stashed in there for someone. There's not someone hiding in the plumbing that's going to pop out and do something to Taylor.
He's going to flush first.
He's just going to sit in there. He just puts AirPods in while she's going and faces the wall until she's done.
Step away.
And then leaves.
Don't hit the single flush.
Now.
Hit the double.
We're safe now. Let's get out of here. What an odd world. The odd world of celebrity.
Did Taylor make it today after being booed for the fourth
She just planned another global world tour that's going to make her another $1 billion.
Yeah.
That's probably what she did. She sits back and watches as C.J. Gardner-Johnson's mom's restaurant goes down because all the Swifties went and gave him bad reviews because he said that Travis Kelce should have stuck with the thick girls and not Taylor Swift, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Also, the photo of him in that meme is hilarious.
Yeah.
It does make you think, though, how little she is booed.
Yeah.
You know? Or like
ever. I mean, is she ever? I'm
sure
that she won an award and there was like a smattering of boos at some point. Like when people didn't like that she was racking up country awards. She probably felt some hate from that a little bit.
Yeah.
But in terms of just
like what?
Ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Swift.
Ooh. No, I don't think that's ever happened.
Just a rumble over the stadium? That's never happened.
So maybe the first time ever.
I mean, could be.
Thank you, Philly.
There's a first time for everything.
Thank you, Philly.
And Philly fans are making sure that happens.
May see the.
You know that Bradley Cooper, by the way, is just like grilling up cheesesteaks now for a living? He opened his own cheesesteak restaurant, Philly cheesesteak restaurant in New York.
I didn't know that.
I was watching him on Pat McAfee.
That's also ballsy to
and,
do
well,
that.
and McAfee was like, everybody thinks this is a publicity stunt, that you're not actually manning the grill.
Yeah.
And he said, no. He's like, I walk my son and daughter to school. He lives in Manhattan. Walk them to school, and I go hit the grill for 4 hours at his cheesesteak restaurant in New York. And it's just a buddy of his that he loved it's Angelo's small cheesesteak place in Philly. And he told Angelo, you need to come to New York. There's not a good, he calls it steak sandwiches. There's not a good steak sandwich place in New York. So it started as a food truck. He invested in it, and now it's got its own physical location. And Bradley Cooper can be seen there just manning the grill 4 hours a day.
There he is.
Yeah. This was him at the food truck. But I think now they actually have an actual spot in New York City.
He's intense with it, too.
I want to check it out next time we go. I want to see Bradley Cooper make my cheesesteak.
Limitless.
Yeah. Make me a cheesesteak, clown. To quote one of his best movies ever, Wedding Crashers. That's one I'd watch a sequel to.
Limitless right here. This is Limitless.
That is Bradley Cooper, Limitless. This is after he's pointing to them. 2 Limitless pills. 2. Not one, guys. He's got in the air.
We want one.
2 Limitless pills at that point. I like Bradley Cooper. He's kind of an oddball, but he's...
no, I think he's cool.
Listening to him interviewed, he's a legit ball guy. Like, he's a big Eagles fan. He knows the team, and he's a lifelong fan. He seems like a pretty genuine guy.
He would boo Taylor Swift.
He would boo Taylor Swift. You know, if he went on Howard Stern, and Howard Stern asked, what do you think about Taylor Swift being booed? He probably would have gone, that's what she should get. That's what she should expect from Philly fans.
Howard would have said, some people just need to lighten up. No, there's just Philly.
If you had the balls to wear Chiefs gear into that stadium, then you might get booed.
What happened to our Chiefsaholic guy?
Is he in federal
I mean, I know he's in prison or whatever, but I'm wondering, was he allowed to watch the game?
You think that he's a Philly fan now?
I think his punishment should just be you have to watch that game over and over and over again while in prison.
We sentenced you to 4 years, solitary confinement, watching Super Bowl 59 start to finish.
Yes.
And we'll go slow-mo on the parts where it shows Mahomes and Kelsey's faces when they're completely distraught and helpless, in the words of Travis Kelce. They can't do a thing about the onslaught from the Eagles, so we're going to slow that down for you like Clockwork Orange and make you watch those scenes over and over again. Would Chiefsaholic agree to that punishment if it reduced his prison sentence, which I'm assuming is pretty long? If it just went to 1 year of that, 1 year solitary, watching that game over and over again, and you're free, would he take it?
He would have to watch that while listening to his attorney defend him outside the...
I would pay for that on my own. I listened to the attorney as a free man.
The attorney was incredible.
It's great. It's the type of guy I want defending me.
It's like
if I ever need an attorney, please, on my behalf, I give you power of attorney to reach out to that man to defend me as vigorously.
At the beginning of this case,
there it is.
With this vigor.
The government has been blitzing, and Xavier's pocket was collapsing. But today, Xavier stepped into the pressure. He took responsibility for his actions. He stood up in court, humble and repentant, and admitted what he had done.
Looks like McLovin.
He does.
Now, if I know anything
sweet tie, man,
about Xavier, and if
Xavier
Steven knows anything about Chiefsaholic, we know that he doesn't give up.
This guy's never watched a sporting event in his life.
He stumbled and he fell. He didn't let his knee touch the ground. And that's because he's capable of doing a great thing. And he knows that there's still hope. We still have a lot of work to do on his case, but Xavier wants everyone to know that he loves the Chiefs Kingdom, he loves Kansas City, and he hopes that you'll rally to his support. Thank you and God bless.
Rally to his support.
How Saturday Night Live did not pick up on this and parody this guy's address to the media, I'll never know. And do you think the people at Fox 4 that were playing the footage of that, the person working the camera, whoever the reporter is, they're just thinking the whole time, my God, this is gold. You're trying not to laugh, but you're thinking to yourself, I'm here reporting on the steps of this courthouse, and this dude is just spinning gold for us.
Do we have the other one by chance?
This is amazing.
There were two. If we don't,
What we need to find is the butt chugging attorney from Knoxville.
Oh, yes.
That's the next lawyer addressing the media that we need to find. We need to get the rights to that video.
Broughton?
In perpetuity. I think we should just request the rights to that in perpetuity and play it whenever we feel like it, to go back to it.
The one of my favorite parts.
He addresses at one point the rumors that his client is gay.
Yes.
In the middle of his legal defense, he said, "It has been implied that my client is gay. I'd like to present to everyone here that he is not gay. He's a straight man.
The best, though, Chad.
The straightest guy I know is sitting right here next to me right now. I swear he's so straight."
What was his name? Alex Broughton?
It's Broughton. It's Scotch.
Broughton.
It's not Broughton. It was Broughton, not Broughton, right?
It's
Broughton. It's Scotch.
There's Chiefsaholic and his
alias.
attorney.
It kind of looks like Clark Kent and Superman. That lawyer could be Chiefsaholic for all we know. This is the lawyer by day, Chiefsaholic by Sunday.
Rally to his support.
He did not let his knee touch the ground. He's still up. He's running.
No, he didn't. He ran. That is correct.
Speaking of running, I happened to catch The Fugitive the other night, Harrison Ford. That movie still holds up.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's really good. I hadn't either. But even like the score to it, the music, everything about it, I'm like, man, this is very 1994 technology, which makes me laugh because today he'd be caught in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have the footage of him on a satellite, camera or security footage everywhere. And then in 1994 in Chicago, he just goes back to his hometown and he's renting the basement of some Polish lady's apartment.
With this isn't a definitive report, but in talking to league and media folks this past week, it sounds like no team wants anything to do with an offseason Hard Knocks this summer. And it may be a one and done. Hard to imagine why. Yeah, thanks, Saquon.
Well,
Thanks, Giants.
It's thanks to the GM of the Giants, Joe Shane.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce his name? So Joe Shane and the Giants. Here's the problem with all this. Like DBAP. Okay, this is a little bit of DBAP involved here. You get Final Cut. The Hard Knocks NFL, you get to say what's in and out of each episode. They could have easily edited out the part where he says, "I'm going to have a hard time sleeping at night if Saquon Barkley goes to the Eagles." Just don't be dumb. I mean, if you're a competent organization and you have faith in your process and the work you're putting into the offseason and the draft, you could very easily say yes to this and be just fine. And we're not going to be coming back clipping things of dumb things that you did. It just, to me, it shows a shocking lack of security. There's a lot of insecurity here with front offices, but security in yourself and what you're doing as a team, and also the lack of understanding that you can edit out whatever you don't want in there. If there's something on your draft board behind them in the shot, you can blur it out or get that scene taken out completely. Each team gets the final cut of Hard Knocks. So I think this is a bit of DBAP going on with teams around the league.
Yeah, and
all because the Giants were so stupid.
Well, the only reason the Giants did that in the first place is they were kicking off their 100th year anniversary celebration, whatever. So they were trying to tie that in. So they volunteered. I mean, if the NFL is going to continue to get more money for shows like this, they'll just force teams to do it like they do in the normal Hard Knocks or in-season Hard Knocks.
I totally agree. And also, I got to think there's someone that's watching that thinking, man, if the Giants set the bar that low, we're going to look like geniuses if they come and show our operation here. Because I'm not going to say something that dumb. And if I happen to say something that dumb and a camera caught it, I'd make sure to go back and watch each episode of what they're planning to air and edit out what we don't want. You do that with the owner, the GM, with everyone. Like, everybody's going to look smarter than the Giants. I shouldn't say everyone. Not everyone. But most teams in the league are going to look competent compared to what the Giants did this past offseason.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
So DBAP league.
I understand why teams don't want to do it because it's
just something else to worry about.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I think of the versions that they have, this is the most team friendly because everything that we'll see happens well after free agency. All right, so like you get the negotiations and all that stuff, but like it's not happening that week. It's not ongoing constantly. like, the storybook of training camp. You don't have to, or in season. I would prefer the tape version of February and March, and then everything rolls out in April, I think is whatever it. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was the best of the
I think
of the hard knocks that they've done of last year.
I think if you're a confident, up and coming, younger assistant GM, head of college scouting, scout, whoever it may be that could get some good screen time in this offseason version of your team, I think you'd be dying to have this type of exposure and wanting to show that you're good at your job and not be shying away from it or scared, because it could end up leading to you getting another opportunity to advance, to be a general manager or go from one spot as assistant GM to a better one, to a number 2, and then eventually become a GM in the league. I think that, and again, it's an owner decision, right? It's an organizational decision. But if I would want my team, if my team had competent people around them, I'd want all the people in that front office wanting to do this because they know how damn good they are at it. And they want to show the world how good they are at it. That's the mentality I would want. But instead, we're going to get everybody scared because the Giants look like idiots.
So, will there be a team that looks like idiots for signing Aaron Rodgers? There's at least one Pittsburgh Steelers player who's hoping that it's not going to be his team. This is the post from Deshaun Elliott. Leave his ass at the retirement home. That to the trending news that Rodgers could be linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Then he deleted it.
Yeah, of course he did. I mean, that's what you do, Chad. That's what social media is for, is to post and then delete.
Yeah, just stick with it. If you wanted to leave his ass at the retirement home, then by all means, stick with it. It'll be a fun conversation to have and fun questions that Aaron Rodgers is going to get when he becomes a Steeler. When Pittsburgh signs him and he's asked all questions about Deshaun Elliott, that's going to be fun. I'm sure he'll laugh it off and say, "I'm looking forward to meeting Deshaun."
Yeah, not a.
He'll probably have a joke ready. I think Aaron Rodgers probably have a joke ready for him.
There's not that many teams that are, I think, I don't know, it should make common sense to sign Aaron Rodgers. Like that. And if you're Rodgers, if it's just a 1-year deal, where do you really want to go play for a year?
Pittsburgh makes as much sense
as
anywhere.
Right?
I mean, is Indy good enough roster around him that he could go there and kind of be that Phillip Rivers for a year and get in the playoffs?
Yeah.
That's another possibility. The Raiders aren't going to be any good, I don't think, if that's – because
they're not
the
running.
Vegas odds we went through the other day, Hut, was Pittsburgh 1, Raiders 2, and then you kind of go down the line. The 49ers were in there. Titans are in there.
The Chip Kelly offense doesn't
The 49ers I don't think will happen. But Giants were at the very end of it, and you had 49ers, Titans, Colts as options as well. The Vikings as an option.
Oh, to follow the Favre path, full circle. Go from the Jets to the Vikings, full circle.
I think Pittsburgh is the best fit all the way around because Mike Tomlin is a strong head coach that's been there a long time. He commands the locker room. They could tell Aaron Rodgers, go along with it, right? You're a part of this organization now. The organization is bigger than you. I don't know that Rodgers does it. I'm not sitting here saying that he's going to do everything that Mike Tomlin tells him to do and he's going to fit in line perfectly because he's not that type of guy. But they have the best percentage chance of making that happen based on the other organizations.
I'll follow you on that.
If he comes to Nashville, he's running the show.
Yes.
Right? With the Titans, like he's the offensive coordinator, he's the GM.
Yeah.
He's doing all of it because that's not a strong enough group that's been established long enough to come in and say, you, Aaron Rodgers, will follow our commands.
The fact, though, that he flew back across country to meet with the Jets to learn that, supposedly they're not going to be, signing his checks any time moving forward after that June 1st deadline. The fact that he flew there told me that he does want to play again.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
So, he just didn't stay out and make it a phone call. So, I thought that was
he's gonna get an opportunity if he really wants to play again from someone. I'm just sort of laughing at the notion that the Tennessee Titans sign him, and they're like, "Hey, we've got 4 months of GM experience here. We're telling you what to do." Right? Like, it's got to be. That's why Pittsburgh, and I don't know that he makes Pittsburgh some legit contender. I don't think he's at that point in his career. Do I think he's a massive upgrade for the Titans or other teams? Yeah,
massive.
Absolutely. But you're also surrendering a full season to Aaron Rodgers. Could be great. Could be an absolute shit show.
Well,
it could be both. It could be both for a team like the Titans, too.
And what you can't do is bring in like Nathaniel Hackett again.
Yeah.
Let him follow. Like, that's also.
And have him bring in Alan Lazard and all of his buddies.
Yeah, that's okay. Like, certain players for certain roles.
They know Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and I
Devontae
want that.
Adams would be a bigger role.
I want that rapport, right, with my quarterback and receiver, that kind of thing. But the purpose of Hackett would be what exactly?
Ping pong partner.
Yeah.
You better refit those ping pong tables in the facility.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be playing a hell of a lot of ping pong together.
Those are the buddies that you don't need to bring in with you this time for 1 year.
No. And will the new team, the Steelers won't like it and wouldn't put up with it, but the McAfee hits. That's one thing the Jets were telling him, like, you're not going to do that anymore. And Rodgers like, no. I mean, I've got a contract with him. I'm getting paid a lot of money. I want to do it. I'm going to keep doing it. So whoever signs him is going to have to be willing to put up with that. And I think all that's overblown. I don't really remember anything he said that just damned the New York Jets throughout the year.
No.
To me, it's a bunch of people that work for the organization that just don't want to deal with the headache of it, and then having their press conferences derailed by questions about something he said about RFK Jr. or whoever else during their press conference.
Well, I think that's.
I don't think it has a legitimate effect on the locker room.
I think it's just there's a new Aaron running the show with the Jets.
Well, and do you think
there's a new leader there?
Do you think that anything that Aaron Rodgers said on McAfee disrupted the Jets locker room in any way or got players hating him because of something he said on McAfee?
No.
I think that part's overblown. Is it a distraction? It's a distraction of media relations. It's a distraction because the press conference has become about whatever he said that may have nothing to do with the game that week. But other than that,
if you want it to be one voice, one message, it's not going to be that.
But what matters the most is coaches and players, coaching and playing the game and trying to win games. I don't think that his McAfee appearances do anything to disrupt that part of it. I don't think a player's listened to him on McAfee like, I hate this guy. I'm not going to play for him or play with him.
No. And, I mean, in fact, it was the opposite.
Except for maybe Deshaun Elliott, who hates.
Yeah, Deshaun Elliott.
He wants his ass to stay in the retirement home on McAfee because of something
Elliott,
he said.
Maybe they could go on McAfee and hash it out.
You think Elliott's a huge Jimmy Kimmel guy? That's where he sides in the late night wars? That's why he hates Aaron Rodgers so much? It's like, how dare you blast my king, Jimmy Kimmel? I'm a Fallon guy myself, but maybe he's a Jimmy Kimmel guy, and that's why he's so upset.
Bend the knee. Greg Byrne. Byrne notice.
He's going hard in the paint, man. Greg Byrne's got some takes.
He's the Alabama AD. He's got suggestions for how to fix court storming.
I think from a safety standpoint, keeping people off the fields and the courts is a good thing for everybody involved. If we said that the home team, if they storm the field or the court, they're going to lose that game right then and there, that will stop it. I'm not overly optimistic and understand it's not a popular opinion in a lot of people's view. I'll get criticized for it. That's okay. I do believe in it. And if somebody can come up with something more that's a better idea that does not include that, I'm all for it. I'm not saying that's the only possible way. I'm convinced in my own simple mind that that would be something that would stop it. Let's celebrate up in the stands. Let's have a great environment. I'd even be fine if you say, hey, let's give it 3 minutes to get the team off the field. And then if they want to come down and celebrate, great.
3 minutes, no. No one's going to want to celebrate after 3 minutes of getting everything off the field and turning the lights out.
I may be the only one bothered by this, but I am disturbed how much he sounds like Greg Sankey when he speaks. Like the whole linking of Alabama athletics and the SEC office, I think it's now gone in the direction of crazy conspiracy theory that they favor Alabama and everything. But when I hear Greg Byrne speak, I'm like, that's Greg Sankey. I mean, like, yeah, even the style.
I can hear it now.
The sports coat, the glasses, is that the same glasses designer they go to? Him and Greg Sankey, their speech patterns
Warby
the same?
Parker.
That sounds exactly like something Greg Sankey would say about, hey, you know, it's an issue for our student athletes and something we must address, and maybe we should forfeit games for the winning team. Greg Byrne and Greg Sankey, kind of the same guy.
Why is this such a huge issue? I don't get it. Like, are people just being like trampled? I don't see why this is such a massive issue.
If there was even a moment where, let's say one of these basketball, you know, Vanderbilt had back-to-back Saturdays. They stormed the court.
Yeah.
The second one was $500,000. Went from $250 to $500 when they stormed against Kentucky. Let's say that, I mean, what would it take to get people to really listen to this and be like, okay, it's a serious issue? Like 6-7 people get hurt, trampled.
Yeah, well,
not even
I
killed, but like hospitalized.
I'm not saying I want that. I'm not insinuating.
But this is my point. Has that happened?
No.
Have we heard about that happening?
No, it's just.
I'm sure there's been an individual injury here and there.
Sure,
from someone.
Yeah,
you know,
by someone who decided to, you know, storm the field.
Yeah,
you know, like I've long said I'm surprised, like whenever the goalposts come down, that doesn't cause more injury.
Yeah.
Than what it does. In the case of storming the court, I mean, fining schools is not going to stop anything. So, I mean, if you're looking for a solution, at least, you know, Greg Bird's got a solution that's actually, I would say, more likely than not to keep people off the floor, if that's the goal. But I don't see like I don't know.
I don't think.
Is there destruction going on here? I don't see that either. Like it's just a fine, but it's like
I've never heard of a bad court storming incident.
No.
To me, that's probably the safest way to go about it. I will say Vanderbilt is the worst place and most dangerous place to storm a court, only because of the construction of it. You have to go down and then climb up over everyone around the court because you're eye level with shoes. If you're calling a game there on the press row. So you're literally having to push up and go over people who are right below the court to get on the court. It's not just like walking down from your seats and walking onto the court as it is in every other arena in America.
I do think that like we're far too many court stormings though. You know, like
you gotta back it.
There's a time and a place. You gotta if you're beating number one in America, go for it.
Well, if you're beating number one in America and you haven't been ranked in years like Vandy, great. Yeah. Like those two, the second one maybe not, but storm the court against Tennessee, top 5 rival. Right. You haven't won a game like that in a while against a top team at home. That's a worthy court storming. But if you're 17th in the country and you beat number one at home, guess what? It was probably a 1 or 2 point line. Like that's not reason for court storming. Right.
There's a time and a place for it, and then the field storming thing, same thing. When you storm the field, I'm all for it.
Great example. Tennessee, Alabama this year shouldn't have stormed the field.
Yeah,
2 years ago, for sure, we were there. That was you hit that field goal, you ended that long streak. Boom, storm the field. Now you've won 2 in a row in Knoxville. Like you don't have to storm again.
Tennessee didn't do it against Florida.
No.
You know, like that's another good example of when to, when not to. But like to forfeit the game?
That's extreme.
Like then what constitutes?
Can you imagine players celebrating on the court of the team who just lost because all the students are on the court and they know they've now won the game and forfeit, and they're taunting and mocking the students that just gave them the win? What kind of scene that would cause?
Yeah, exactly. Or the fights from like the home fan base for those that want to storm the court, and then they're fighting because to keep people from storming the court to keep the forfeit from happening.
I mean, I would pay the school's football team, all of them, to line the court
and
late in the game and be like, no matter what, do not break this perimeter. Now you are the offensive line, and don't let some tiny philosophy major break through that line. You clothesline them. You do anything necessary. You have cops are behind them. Right, last line defense, the police officers.
Yes.
You get the yellow jacket security behind the football team.
Yep.
And they all line up around the court and say, don't do it. Just sit there and don't do it. We're not going to lose this game because of you drunken idiots getting onto the court. That's how I'd handle it. If this became a rule, which it shouldn't.
They just need Tyrus there.
Get Tyrus out there.
That's right.
Lining it up.
Maintaining with Tyrus drops Sunday, February
segue.
16th, 9 a.m. Eastern. Lawrence Taylor, the special guest this week.
One of the things you talked about is you always chased the guy in front of you, but then when you got in front, you weren't going to let nobody catch you.
No, hopefully not.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You didn't get – a
Hopefully
lot of
not.
times people get to their spot and they go, I'm
Yeah.
here. I don't have to work hard anymore. I'm here. And
You know, football was when I was playing for the Giants and stuff. That was my life. I mean, I concentrated more on football and less on regular
focus
life.
on what what was at hand. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've had good times, I've had bad times.
Yes, sir.
So you know my
Listen,
history.
the most beautiful thing,
You
one of the
know
things
my
that that makes you a role model to brothers like myself is that you show what it is, what redemption is. You can be at that point of no return, and then you come back.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you something, it is so satisfying when, like right now, I'm satisfied with Lawrence Taylor.